Paying $500 a month or even more on your car loan? That's $6,000 or more a year, getting you zero rewards. Until now, the Fasten Rewards Visa card gives you 3 times points on any auto lease or loan payments. Yes, your actual loan payments. Plus 4 times at Fasten Partners and 3 times on all auto spending. Finally, a card built for how drivers actually spend money. And here's the best part. Fasten was founded by a fellow Husky who understands what it takes to win, whether that's on the court, field, or with your wallet. Redeem for travel, cash, gift cards, or your next down payment. Apply at fasten.cc/apply and start stacking rewards on every payment. The Fasten Rewards Visa card is powered by Heisman and issued by Celtic Bank, pursuant to a license by Visa USA Inc. All cards are subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Rewards are subject to change. Visit fasten.cc/legal for full program details.
Coming off the big win against Duke, excited to be joined again by Joe. So Joe, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jared.
So let's start with this one. Obviously, to the fan base and those around the program here, the Duke game just heading into it felt like a pretty big game. Did it feel that way to you heading into last week? Like, were you able to pick up on some of that extra excitement that was there around this one last week?
Um, yeah, I mean, from the outside, there was definitely some buzz that was going on, that you could hear about. And it lived to be true. I mean, the rent was, pretty packed, made that game pretty special. But as far as, internal, I think, we really strive just to take every game the same. Um, you know, we're playing against ourselves, so we never look, you know, any game any differently.
Yeah, you talk about the crowd there a little bit. I know I've been going to games at the Rim for a while, and this was the one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen there. You come out of the locker room there, see that, hear that throughout the game. Just give us a little sense of what that's like getting to be play in front of a crowd like that.
It's special. It adds an element to the game that it's kind of hard to describe. Um, Everything just feels that much more important, or they're helping us out when our defense is on the field. So it's special. The fans really showed out, and they made that game, one for the ages. And now we're just looking to repeat it this week against Air Force.
Yeah, let's talk through just a few of the highlights of the game itself, and just go looking through the game. The Duke starts. They score pretty quickly on a 3-play drive. How important was it for you in the offense then to go in and respond and match that touchdown at that point in the game?
It doesn't add just because they score first doesn't add any pressure to anybody. We're just we want to score every drive. Doesn't matter if they score or not. So I mean, that's kind of the deal with the offense. I feel like that's why we've been able to bounce back in some games and or from week to week. It's just that mindset of we're not worried about the external factors. We're worried about doing our job and scoring on that drive.
Yeah, defense certainly did its job, throughout the game. But that first half in particular, once they get that quick score, really help settle them down and give you and the offense chance to give a little bit of separation. How did it feel knowing that you could, really rely on the defense to go out there and make some big stops in that one?
I mean, that's huge. We always have trust and faith in defense. Going up against them every week. I know the problems that they cause in the backfield and in the secondary. So, you always have that confidence, and when they're making plays, and getting stops, that just creates momentum for the offense.
Yeah, as you're going through that game, I felt like the Duke D line was pretty tough, and they were getting some pressure on you. Take us through just your perspective as that game's going on, and what it was like playing under a little bit more pressure than maybe you're used to.
Um, I mean, they had some, really good D linemen on the edge there. One guy, preseason all I see, and the other, I mean, they were good football players, but I was really proud of the way that our O-line held their own
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, when you're going up against some of those opponents like that, that could kind of get into a QB's head sometimes, or maybe, but I felt comfortable back there. I had full trust in the O line the whole time, so that was big. I think that played a big role that some people might not factor in, but just the level of play that they've been were playing at allowed me to have confidence.
Yeah. Second half of that game really is just kind of back and forth. You guys and Duke just throwing punches at each other. Just really, really good football game for those who just wanted an exciting one. What's it like just being a part of a game like that where it really is just back and forth and just being in that kind of environment?
It's fun. It's really fun. It's the games you grow up thinking about. I mean, it's fun when you're on that winning side. And those are the games, as a kid, you're, dreaming about getting that last minute score and stuff. So it was cool. Now, like I said, the focus has been moved on. I know we're kind of doing this later in the week, so my mindset's kind of shifted.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
so I hate to keep bringing up, into the next, but that's what it is. This team, we're looking to, kind of build off of that.
All right, I won't ask you too much more. Just a couple more on
No, you're good.
last week. I think one of the more underrated plays in that game, you scramble, it's third and long that sets up that fourth down and puts you in a distance, I think, where you can actually think about pulling off that fake punt. What were your thoughts when you see that fake called there?
Um, I didn't know what was happening, so I wasn't really watching. I'm heading to the sideline, and then I hear the crowd kind of go, and that gets my attention, and I see Alex down the sideline. So then I didn't really have time to react. It was okay. Now we're back on the field. So yeah, that was I didn't. It was really cool, but I didn't really get to see it. Didn't have much of a reaction.
Yeah, no, I again, I think you're scrambling there that picked up like 10 or 12 yards. I think makes a big difference there because now you're all of a sudden in a range where maybe the fake is possible, and they pulled it off there. As we're looking down at the end of that game, that final touchdown that scored, you got to go for two. I'm not sure I've ever seen a UConn quarterback out there really lay it out there like you did heading into the pylon there on that 2 point conversion. Seemed like just all out effort on your end. What's going through your head as you see that pylon coming towards you and you know you're going to get hit pretty hard?
It's a big play in the game. We're either going to be up one and they can kind of comfortable and just kick a field goal to win the game, or we can go up three and kind of give our defense that much more of an edge that they, to win the game, at least they have to go score a touchdown. So it was a big play. Happened to call her pass play. Nothing really popped. Louis did a great job blocking there in the corner. And, I was, just fast enough to get to the pylon, which ended up being a big play. Yeah.
Yeah. So this all happens. It goes to you guys are kicking off the ball back to Duke, and if you I don't know if you've seen what the media team has put out, but they've got the nice like 15-minute recap video of the game, and there's just a shot of you just like calm, cool, collected on the bench as they're getting ready to kick off. What's going through your head at that time? Because I mean, you just seem like Joe Cool right there. Like nothing's bothering you. No thoughts. Just taking it all in.
Yeah, we're kicking off. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm taking it all in. But at that time, there's a minute 58 left or something. I had all the confidence in the defense, no doubt, but we gotta be ready to go if they do kick a field goal and they tie it, we gotta be ready to go to overtime and stuff like that. So um yeah, like it's a little bit of it all, kind of replaying that last drive in my head, but also telling myself we gotta be ready to go win this game again if we need to.
How big do you think the experience of the different games you've gone through this year really, ultimately led to you guys being able to pull out a win like you did against Duke? I just think back to the number of like end of game drives you guys have had to pull off on both sides of the ball and how it's worked out. So how big do you think that experience has played out in this one?
A lot. I mean, when you get a team that's been in those late game situations, nothing's new. You kind of been in that moment before. The moment's not too big, so guys can kind of just fall down to the level of their preparation because they've been there before, which just makes the game that much slower. And so you're able to react faster, and guys are, no matter how the game's going, guys, they're not getting too high or too low. They're just, they're ready for when the moment comes to them.
Yeah, I know you were talking about on that final drive there. You're starting to think, hey, maybe I'm going to need to come back in and lead another drive. But are you able to, kind of sit and watch what the defense is doing and be a part of it, everything as, you see that fumble happening? Or are you kind of in your own space at that point, thinking about how you might need to get back out there?
Well, at the moment when we got the sack, I mean they were pretty late in the clock, so I knew it was either we were going to keep them out of field goal range and win the game, or they were going to have to kick a deep one and tie it up. So at that point, I'm locked in on the defense. I'm cheering them on, taking in the moment, and then Brian BP comes up with a huge play, and yeah, it was special. It'll be one that I look back on for sure. But again, I mean, I hate, we're late in the week, so we're moving on and we're looking to build off.
All right, so let's talk about building off of it a little bit. You got a good game this weekend coming up against a tough Air Force team. What sticks out about Air Force to you as you've been going through the prep this week?
Um, they're a tough team. They played, they've won two of their last three, and they've lost some close ones. Like I think they have three losses within like 3 points or a score. So I
Mhm.
mean, their record could very easily be flipped. I think that's a little skewed. I think they're a really good football team. They pose some challenges on defensive side. They fly around and make plays, and they're a team with a little bit of momentum right now. Winning two of their last three.
Yeah. Um, all right. Probably the only thing you probably hate more than talking about last game while you got another game on that you're thinking of is talking about yourself personally. But I do have to ask a little bit. You've been getting a lot of hype out there, a lot of coverage like nationally. Have you been soaking that all in? What's kind of your mindset been, and what's it been like for you just seeing your name like up on CBS Sports had you the top quarterback in their power rankings this week. So what does that all feel like for you?
It's really cool. It's an honor for sure. Something that you always strive for, but at the same time, we're in the middle of the season right now, so it's you try to put those blinders on and stay focused on the real goal, which is going 1-0 and winning. But it's cool to have on the side, and after the season, I look back and I'm sure I'll be proud of it. But right now, kind of putting that off to the side and focusing on the task at hand.
Yeah, I'll ask one more on it though. Because I feel like as a kid growing up playing the NCAA football game, no matter what I could do, I could never get a UConn quarterback in Heisman contention. But your name gets thrown around on those watch lists. I saw there's a billboard now going up talking about you like in the Heisman race. What's it feel like to just even hear your name mentioned alongside that trophy?
Sounds like you got to lower the difficulty on NCAA. Um, no, it's an honor. It's super cool. It's very surreal. Um, Again, like I said, like it'll be something that even to have my name mentioned in those things is super cool, and I want to keep building that, and I want to keep going with that, and get higher. But it'll be something at the end of the year that I can look back on and be proud of. But again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but just keeping those blinders on and keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, you keep the blinders on. You let the fan base go crazy on social media, hyping you up and getting you boosted up there. Uh, I'll wrap with this one for you. I know it's UConn basketball season, which is always big up on campus. But Coach Hurley the other day said he's looking for his point guard to be like Joe Fagnano. What tips do you have to the to Silas there and him as he's trying to grow into his point guard role?
I'm the I'm the least point guard. I'm the worst point guard there is. So on a basketball court, he doesn't want any tips from me. Um, they're a heck of a team. It's awesome. I'm gonna go to the game I think next week, which will be fun watching those guys play. They're a special group, and I know that they're gonna probably bring home another natty this year, which will be fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Joe, I really appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on. Sorry to make you look back so much. We'll get this earlier in the week next week so we can do it in a little bit of a better fashion there. But I've talked to Coach Moore enough. I know he's not a fan of doing the look back stuff either. So I'm used to it with you football guys. But Joe, appreciate it. Best of luck this week against Air Force. Enjoy getting to wrap things up, your last home game at the Rent. I didn't even bring that up, but let's end with that one instead of the Hurley one there. But what's it going to be like for you just knowing that this really is the last time you're stepping on the field at the Rent? Unless there's some way we could dig up one more year of eligibility, but I think we've exhausted that.
Yeah, I don't think that one is a good problem. But it's gonna be cool. It's just something I don't want to think about too much because it's been a special ride here and it's been fun. The rents, especially when, after coming off a game like that, it's special. So looking to end it off with a bang and send it off the right way.
There we go. Keep it going at home. Well, Joe, best of luck this weekend and look forward to chatting with you next week.
Thank you. Have a good one.